Louisiana Beer Reviews. Bia Saigon Export. Established. This company was established in 1875. It's currently known as SABECO. SABECO. This is produced in Saigon, Viet Nam. I can see a lot of sediment. The sun is very bright, no clouds, and I can see sediment throughout. I don't know if that's yeast chunks or it's just not totally filtered, but this is full of big and small white chunks, it appears. 12-ounce brown bottle. The strongest beer they were listed on their website is a 5.3% lager, like their malt liquor, then down to 4.3%. So they range from 4.3 to 5.3. This is 4.9, your average ABV for a lager. The date is good on it. I bought it at Total Wine & More. It wasn't too expensive. I wouldn't have bought it if it had been. Let's see. 1875, that was during the time of French Indochina, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, as we call it. Nice smoke, Cambodia. It survived the French occupation, colonization, survived the Japanese invasion in the 1940s, the Indochina War from 1945 to 1975, and it's still around. The company's still around, and they show the officers of the company even give their date of birth. Okay. They also produce non-alcoholic beverages like sodas, whatever, sparkling water. Very thick, stark white head, and the appearance is clear, bubbly gold in this clean glass with lots of roiling white sediment, more than normal. I think Carlsberg Pilsner has a lot of sediment too. This is really incredible. It's imported. Well, Total Beverage Solution has it on their website, and it says here, what is it? I thought they were showing a different Heritage Beverage Company, San Jose, California. I thought so. Water, barley malt, cereals, and hops. Cereals, plural. So does that mean corn and rice? Or are they just saying that rice? I noticed that when I was reading the website, it was very kind of clunky English. They were trying to translate it to English. It was difficult for them. It's an extensive website all about brewing and how they brew the beer and the brewery, and it just goes on and on. So it's not some little quick run through. They're very proud of the product. Nationalist Vietnamese people. Very bready, multi-biscuity. It's sort of a Euro lager aroma, not necessarily different than a Kronenbourg beers, which makes sense when you think about the history. All right, cheers to the taste. Yeah, it's a Southeast Asian beer, but just a lot like Tiger and Sing. It's a very Euro lager style, and most of those were developed in collaboration with European settlers, homesteaders, whatever you call it. Lots of French people still live in Vietnam. They were there during the French occupation, or the days of French Indochina. They stayed after the French Army began to leave in 1954, French Army and Navy. Stayed during the American and Australian involvement and the New Zealand involvement in the Vietnam War. Also South Korea, Thailand, the Philippines. Okay, I don't want to leave anybody out. After the North Vietnamese takeover, a lot of French stayed there even then. Still there. Maybe not the same people, unless they're 90-something years old, but A lot of them are still there, involved with the companies and whatnot. A lot of plantations. Good hop bitterness. Must be about 15 IBUs, you would think, higher than normal. They say it's a Pilsner type. On the website, they're talking about 1842 when they developed Pilsner in the Kingdom of Bohemia, and then it's saying this beer is in that family. And it tastes like it. A little less bitter than a Pilsner should be, but it's definitely more than like a fine Pilsner beer like Miller Lite, Lite claims to be, which it's not a Pilsner. Medium bodied, crisp finish. Sweetness scale, 2.5 out of 5 sugar cubes. Bitterness scale, 2 out of 5 hop. 2.5 out of 5 hop cones, I would say. It's halfway bitter. Yeah, it's just, even though the IBUs are low, it's that bitterness is there. It's helped balance in the beer. Now, Beer Advocate's giving it a 67 out of 100. Poor. They're saying it's a D. Well, it's certainly not a D the way I'm looking at it. Rate Beer's saying a 67. No way, it's a 2 out of 100. A 2. Monstrously bad. They're saying, and then in the class, whatever they're saying, Asian lager, they're giving it like some terrible 22 out of 100 in the class. Can't remember that. Just the 2 stuck with me. On tap saying 57 out of 100. So they all hate it. They hate it. There's a dragon on here. Would this go well with Vietnamese food? Oh. Well, it certainly would. I went to the Vietnamese, I guess you call it Little Vietnam, in New Orleans. There's an area along Chef Mentor Highway where a lot of Vietnamese people settled in 1975 and after. It's a heavy glass bottle too, much heavier than an American brown bottle. And I didn't really find any foreign beers, and I asked the girl at one of the stores. She said people don't really like to buy that here. They buy Bud Light. I said, okay, same old story. So she said they had some old men, like in their 60s, that would drink the Vietnamese beers, but all the young people want to drink Bud Light, Heineken. They didn't want to drink old Vietnamese beers. I have been to the church out there. It's a big Catholic church, Our Lady of Vietnam. And I went to the Mission Church in Gentilly, part of New Orleans. Our Lady of Lavang. It's also Vietnamese Mass. It's all in Vietnamese. A man at that church, Our Lady of Lavang, he handed me a hymnal, and then he said, "Oh, he said, you can't read these words." I said, "No, I don't speak Vietnamese." So he took the book back. You can't read it. But they have some really good restaurants near that church on Chef Mentor Highway, US Highway 90. With fabulous food, I'll tell you, fabulous food. In a bakery, a Vietnamese / French bakery. Duan Phong Bakery. Oh yeah. So would this pair well with that kind of food? I mean, the Vietnamese luncheon food, dinner. Absolutely. All right. I don't get the 2 out of 100. If a beer was really a 2 out of 100, I'm pretty sure you could not take a sip, not even a sip, without endangering your life. I'm gonna score it. It won a silver medal at the Mondy Selection in Brussels, Belgium. So it wins the silver medal, which they're touting on their website in Brussels, but Rate Beer's giving it 2 out of 100. Now you figure out who's more accurate. I'm going to say A, 93 out of 100, 9.3 out of 10. It's a fabulous beer. I mean, but you'll notice it tastes a lot like Belgian and French beers that use cereal grains. It's a lot like those, but that makes sense. So I'm going to end this. And if you look at most of the Southeast Asian countries, I don't know if Myanmar sells beer, but Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Singapore. It's all lagers. Everything. They have stouts like in Cambodia. They got that the Khmer. I think it's Angkor stout. So there's that niche thing there. There's a stout following, but it's the vast majority is lagers, light lagers. Japan. I know there's a craft beer scene in Japan and Korea. I know, but it's still lagers, lager. All right. Okinawa. They're a great beer there. So I'm going to end this review by saying laissez les bon temps relais, and y'all go to Saigon and tour I can't remember quite the name of the brewery, but the brewery.